intersection of good drinks, good music, and good times. This is Hops and Spirits Bar Conversations.
You know, it's wild to think that we're closing in on 200 episodes of this show, and it's also wild to think that this is the third time, technically, that these guys have been on the show. Once before it was really Bar Conversations, and then definitely when it became that. So I'm excited to have them back once again. These guys are known as Everette, but let's welcome in Brent, Rupard, and Anthony Olympia. Guys, welcome back.
What's up, man?
Well, I'm glad to have you back. You guys, I know last night, I think you guys, at least when we're talking, you had your album EP release party, I believe. And by the time this episode drops, the new EP, Keys to Kentucky, will be out for everyone to enjoy. So how's everything going?
Man, it's going great. The show last night was a much needed thing for me. We had other co-writers on this project. 3 of our close friends, actually 2 only showed up. The other one was busy, but John Beaches and Brian Simpson came up and played some songs with us, and it was just a nice night of community coming together and celebrating this project. It was awesome.
Well, I love to hear that. Like I said, it's cool that, and wild too, that you are my first third time club guest. Like how SNL has 5-time club. You're 3rd-time club.
Oh,
for me,
All
first
right.
one.
Do we get a trophy?
I would send you things, but I know both of you are now behaving, so I can't. Behaving yourselves more. So I'll just have to enjoy the beverages.
and hey, speaking of that, I meant to make mention of this last night at the show, and I forgot. I feel like ever since COVID and having a second kid, my brain doesn't work like it's supposed to anymore. I don't know if it ever really did, but it definitely doesn't now. Either way, the first show we played at that the venue is called the Analog, the beautiful place in Nashville, and first time we played there was last July 8th, and I think Jonathan, you and I were talking about this recently the other night. That last show a year ago was the last time I had a drink. I think I had 1 beer that night, and I'd already been pondering like taking a break and maybe a very, very, very long break. And anyways, it's kind of weird to be back a year later on that same stage, sober AF. Pretty cool, or something. I don't know what the word is. Here I am.
You deserve a trophy for that. I'll send you one. I think I have one from when I
got
was
a golf clap.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish I had an NA Bush right here, ice cold. That would be fantastic.
Well, I was gonna say, I know this is Bar Conversations. I know everyone's behaving themselves a little more. I'm going a little stronger tonight. Little
Hell yeah.
high and wicked Kentucky straight rye. But Anthony, you mentioned you kind of got on the NA kick. So are you like, or at least you doing the NA beers, like the ones that actually taste like something these days? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's been a wonderful journey, and I feel like it couldn't have been a better time to stop drinking alcohol, a year ago, because there are so many good NA beers, like the Athletic Brewing. We were talking about that one. Athletic. I really love the Hazy IPA. Sierra Nevada has a good one. They also have that. What is that? The hop water thing.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And then, oh man, I mean, I wish I could remember all of them. Oh crap! Was it Sam Adams has that one that's and they have their hazy IPA that's pretty fantastic, and they taste like beer. But I will say my favorite, like my go-to, if I'm not like it's just Busch non-alcoholic beer. Just it tastes the most like a damn beer,
I like it.
Speaking of alcohol, I'm not drinking as much these days, but I went on a golf trip recently, and a friend of mine gave me a bottle of my favorite bourbon, Elmer T. Lee. I got a whole bottle of that.
Ooh.
And I should be drinking that tonight, but I'm going to behave. with my mocktail. I did pour the mocktail in a martini glass because, you know,
Hmm.
He's fancy. Is
I'm
it
fancy.
true, Anthony? Is he really fancy? Is Brent that fancy or no?
Oh yeah, he enjoys the finer things. He may talk a tough game, but that pinky flies pretty often.
I do like a nice
Now,
beverage.
now, well, I was gonna say, but when we were talking before Anthony hopped on, you said you enjoy, an occasional wine these days. Are you red wine, white wine? What? How deep into the wine have you gotten? As you kind of, maybe class up a little bit on us.
I was always a red wine guy, and I didn't mind white, but they all kind of tasted the same to me in the white wine world. And that suddenly has changed recently. I've been doing the whites, and I went to this bar in Starkville, Mississippi. It was like this speakeasy, and they had this Chardonnay that was called Limestone, made by I think it was like Duetsoff or something like that. It was a South African wine, white, and it was the first time that I like truly enjoyed a white wine. And then I think maybe that kicked off my kick on whites.
Can you describe it? Was it a buttery mouthfeel? Was it?
No,
Could
it's
you taste the grape?
yeah, it was citrusy. I like this about red wines as well, and this white did the same thing. And y'all might be able to relate to this when you take a sip of wine and you feel it right here, kind of tighten up. You know what I mean? That kind of
Hmm.
I don't know what you call that uh,
It,
feel, but
sometimes we like to say we go very simple. Sometimes here we go. It was yum. It was yum.
Did your pinky? Did your pinky rise?
come on, Jonathan. I was trying to take you down the wine world. Get your pinky up as well.
Hey, it's funny that you say that because tonight not me, but my wife, she's the one that loves to grill out and do things. I don't mind to grill out, but that's like one of her favorite things to do. So she grilled steak and she goes, you know what? I wasn't thinking on doing anything before we go on vacation, but I'm gonna have a little wine. So we had a little red wine, a little Malbec. I hadn't done wine was never in the forefront for me. It was craft beer for the longest time. We went on a trip with friends down to Patagonia, Argentina, Chile, and basically it was meat and wine, and it was red wine, red wine down there. And I got a crash course, and it was fantastic.
Hell yeah!
I was about to ask you how was it. That's awesome.
Oh, the Malbec, that's what's in our house most of the time now. Now my wife will keep some whites in the fridge just because it is summertime and it's hot in Kentucky. I'm sure it's hot in Tennessee too, um, but yeah, it's been nice because I mean, you like have a glass of wine and I just go right to sleep after that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I
you
might
know,
have a
living
glass tonight,
that
man.
real crazy life. now, now, I know you two. How are the families? I know those they play a big part of your life. Everything that you guys have done. How are the families doing?
Very well. Growing like weeds. Um, Making my hair stop growing. But no, life is pretty good in the family department.
Yeah, same. Same. It's I was telling my wife the other day, and I've said this before. I only have one child, but I think we're finally getting to a point. He's 3 years old, to where we can chill a little bit. Because for the longest time, our life turned into like a full-time math equation on where and who and what angles we're doing, all the stuff. So um, it's nice right now.
I like that. I like that. I was gonna say it is wild, and it's amazing how fast I feel like once you have a kid, time flies. Like they all say that, but until you do it, didn't understand it. Like goodness gracious.
I know it. Me and Anthony were just talking about that today, actually. It's like, man, what happened?
And then I know like I said at the top, you guys are putting out new music, and when you were doing some of that, you got to do those teasers, those fun things for social media. Brent, how tasty was that cicada that flew into your mouth while you were recording stuff?
Hit me right in the tooth, man. This one right there. Yeah, that was so unexpected, man. I don't know if you remember in the video, like, um, my sunglasses flew off. I jerked so hard it was shocking. That's not the first time I was hit by a cicada this year because they were everywhere here in Tennessee. But that was the first mouth shot a cicada got on me.
Dude, speaking of cicadas, two quick things I'll say. It's hilarious how crazy they go if you're like, out there with a weed eater or a lawnmower, but definitely the weed eater. It's like they're just kind of, all the males, I guess, are just kind of like, and they come at you like they would just be all over me. And at first it's funny, and then you're kind of like, get the, like it gets frustrating. Second thing I'll say about the cicadas. So this room is kind of like my home studio. It's a mess right now, but this up here, I had to build this little thing to record some vocals back when it was like Cicada Central, because I have this glass window, and it came through that window like crazy. I mean, just I was having to put mattresses in front of that window and this thing that has like soundproofing stuff so that you can record a vocal in and not just be all you know what I mean? Which now they're all I guess they made their babies and they went back in the dirt or died. I don't know what they're doing. Good riddance.
Mm-hmm.
You mean you guys didn't, fry any up and have some for the picnic table video? You didn't want to do that?
No.
Man, people do that though. Do you know that? People say they taste good.
I don't know if I could do that. I don't think that would be for me.
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
So despite trying to eat a cicada while you were kind of doing stuff for the picnic table video, how much fun was it recording that? Because if people pay very close attention to the background, there's a lot of interesting things going on.
What was going on? I don't remember.
Conversations. I don't know. I saw a picture of you guys with some beer cans that were on fire. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
The music video. My bad. That, yes.
Yeah, that was a blast, man. We just texted a bunch of our friends, honestly, to come on over and said we're going to be shooting a music video. Didn't really give them any clear idea on what was going on. And it was so cool to see them actually show up. We were just like, I don't know if 2 people were going to show up or, 40 people. Like, we don't know. And a lot of our close friends showed up and really played along with it. And some neighbors came over and got in it. And we had a great time.
We did grill some NA beer cans.
We did. Yeah.
Why did you do that?
We were trying to...
I have questions. Why?
Well,
you've had fried cicadas. Why not grilled beer cans?
Why did you do that? So when we were talking about doing this video, we were trying to think of, okay, yeah, we're gonna have this party because it's a pic, and we're gonna have this picnic table, and we pretty quickly like, oh, this is gonna be so on the nose and boring. What do we do to make this interesting? So it was just brainstorming on what's some stupid shit we can do, and one of those things was like, oh, what if like instead of grilling hot dogs and burgers, we're grilling beer cans? Nobody thought that was interesting in the moment, but when it came time to shoot it, I was just like, yeah, let's just do it. And it worked out pretty cool. We ended up using some kind of like fake smoke too in the, like, one of the, Sam sprayed some kind of stuff in there so that when we open it up, it really just went poof, and it looked great for the camera. But, the camera guys were so creative. Like, I love in the middle of it where we're kind of deadpan singing the sad sounding, bridge. If and when we're down and out and feeling blue, and it were just like everybody's partying behind us, and we're like super, deadpan. I love that idea. It turned out so awesome.
No, it was a great video. It's a great song too, and when listening to it on Spotify, I always enjoy seeing what the artist put as maybe the background video. So there's a video of y'all carrying the picnic table. How much thought was put into
Oh,
that to carry a picnic table? And
let me
how
tell you
heavy
about
was it?
that. That was we were out shooting just some content, I guess you'd say, out there, and we had a couple lovely ladies from our team helping us out, and it was super hot, and obviously cicadas everywhere, and we did like 4 or 5 songs. We did some covers out there, and just having a good time with it. And right when it was over, Anthony's like, "Man, what if we just pick up this picnic table and carry it?" And they get video of us. And I'm thinking, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to pick up this heavy picnic table. It was so heavy. But I played along because I'm glad I did because I think it's pretty funny.
I like it. Anthony, you were a genius. You knew exactly what you needed.
I have good ideas sometimes. We also actually had to we did move the picnic table away from the common area, so we didn't bother people. We had to scoot it off so we could sing our songs and record it. And we had to take the picnic table back to where it needed to be. And I was like, "Hey, you all should get this." And they're like, "Well, hang on, can you all carry it again?" And definitely Brent was kind of like, "I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it." But I think we had to do it like 3 or 4 times to get the right angle.
Yeah,
And
they
it
were
was
kids.
pretty
We were right by
uncomfortable.
the playground too, and there were kids and moms over there looking at us like we had 3 heads, and um, they probably thought we were weird, which they're probably right.
Yeah. Just show them our
It's
Spotify canvas, and they'll be like, "Oh, I get it."
Hey, it makes sense when you
Geniuses.
look on Spotify.
But it's I'm sure you all are familiar with like the whole influencers in the wild, like Instagram page and all that sort of stuff. I feel like it's becoming so commonplace, for people doing the whole like influencer crap, stopping at a thing and talking to their phone like, "Oh my god, oh yeah, that's great," like doing the thing. It's like I think people are almost numb. Like they see weird stuff, they're like, "Oh, they're just probably doing something weird for social media, whatever. It's fine." Can you imagine if it was the '90s and you saw people doing something remotely close to that? The amount of people that are doing it, at least in Nashville, it can be pretty common, and like that would be definitely like, you know, what the hell are these people doing? But for real, what are we doing? What are we doing with our lives? We're talking to I mean, I'm talking to you is cool, but like just holding the phone, like, I mean, somebody's gonna see this, right? So I'm gonna talk like I'm really enjoying this. Are we really enjoying this? I mean, I'm enjoying this. Are you all enjoying this?
I
What am
am.
I saying?
I blacked
Are
out.
you
I have
sure
no
that you
idea what
have
you
a
just said.
Anthony? Are you sure you got an NA beer? Because I'm a little concerned.
Uh, I feel like I imbibed enough. I burn enough brain cells to remain wherever the hell I am right now.
Well, I was gonna say, like for stuff like that, like you said, you guys have got to nowadays. Like a long time ago, it was just shoot a music video, go on tour, do different things. Now you got to have the social media stuff, everything. Even Spotify's got the videos. Like, how much effort goes into like all of that? Like whether anytime you put a song out, it's not just you put a song out. You got to tease it on social media, do all these things. I mean, I feel like there's way more effort now than maybe ever before.
That's a good point, man. Thankfully, we have a great team that helps us out with that because, um, like, we'll go do content days where we have a lot of ideas and we'll just shoot all of it in a day. Um, and they help us with that, which makes it a little easier. But you're right, man. It's a lot. I think that me and Anthony have put our foot down on a few things social media wise. We don't do a lot of stuff at our house, with our kids and things like that. I know people might want to see that sometimes, but as an artist, you're on stage, you're in the spotlight a good bit, and the last place you want to have the spotlight on you is in the comforts of your home, sometimes. But we actually had a conversation about social media today and how we fit into this modern world because it is tricky, and most artists are frustrated that that you have to take the world with you everywhere you go. But I don't know. We're kind of navigating that, and it is a process putting out a song. If you want to give it the best chance it can, and just for this project, I'll speak of this project. We feel like that these songs deserve the best chance they can to be heard. So we sacrifice a little
You
bit.
use the word, yeah, that's a good word. Sacrifice, effort. You said that earlier. You've only got so much time in the day, and you've only got so many people helping you, and you've only got so much give a damn, And I will say it's you can't care about everything equally as much all the time. There's just no way. You will burn out. I feel like I cycle back and forth between like on fire, like that manic thing where I'm kind of like, I can do anything, and then I just kind of go like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life? And I think part of that is trying to do everything. When Brent and I were first hanging out, and definitely I could say for me, maybe I speak for Brent too. And first started playing music, just by myself as a kid and dreaming like, my thought was like, I want to write songs and I want to play on stage. I didn't really understand what studio stuff was for a while, but like, that just sounded like such a dream. And then you watch movies or you go to concerts, like, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to get on stage and play for all these people, and maybe if they're singing back to me, like what a thrill that would be, and so that Brent and I started hanging out, and that was our focus, and we loved playing live. Back in the late 2000s, we were really getting rolling on stuff, and it was, people had the flip phones, and they took pictures and stuff, and there was Facebook, but it wasn't quite like you advertised you had a show, but you weren't really like living on there. You made music, you burnt your CDs, and you went and played the show, and then you grew a little bit, and you grew a little bit, and you just, the focus, you could whole ass being a musician, like making music, recording the music, playing the music. That was what you did. And I guess entertaining in whatever capacity, that's what you do. But I will say, like, some people are better at multitasking, doing all this kind of stuff, doing the social media game, strategizing and staying in good spirits and focused on it. Some people maybe have more of a knack for that, but I can say for me, and maybe speak for Brent, like, it is so challenging. It's hard to, wake up and go
Well,
like, let's make some videos today. Let's
back
promote
to your
ourselves.
back to your original point, like you can't be all things all the time, and we put so
Yeah.
much effort into the songs and the songwriting and the recording process. Like for this EP coming out Friday, we produced it. Um, we got the musicians together. We picked the musicians. Anthony did a lot of work on some engineering stuff, and we recorded some stuff at his old publishing company, and um, it's just a lot. You know what I mean? And that's what we love and hope to get to do for the rest of our lives. Um, I guess with the social media thing, it's something you didn't really sign up for, but it's part of the job. It's become part of the job. So again, we're
We're trying to
navigating.
figure out, we're trying to figure out like, okay, so where is our place in all of this? And in a way, to do that in a way, it feels like it's parallel with the mission we have, which is like, we wrote these songs not necessarily, we're not trying to be famous. We want people to hear them. We want fans, because we think these songs do a lot for us. We think it could do a lot for everybody else out there too, and we would love to get on a stage and play them for people. And we know that nowadays the way to make that happen is to, be on fire a little bit on social media. So how do we do that in our way? And that's what we're trying to, and obviously that's a moving target. I'm losing more hair as we're talking about this. By the end of this conversation, by the end of this podcast, my beard is going to be like gray, like, or silver, and all my hair is just going to be on the ground.
Well, I don't want that. I don't want that. We're going to move on to the next topic because
Okay.
I don't want Anthony to be completely, bald and now. But it is wild when you think back of everything and how things maybe get started. For y'all, picnic table is where I started on this conversation. Did y'all really write it in a stinky 15 passenger van? Because I don't feel like that's where I would think of a picnic table idea coming from.
Oh man, but we did. We were on the road with Cadillac 3 at the time, and we had our good buddy John Decius with us. He came out to sell merch for us, and we write songs together, and he's incredible. He actually wrote Lainey Wilson's new single, so he's really um, has done well this year. But good friend of ours, and he came to sell merch and write songs with us. And we were riding down the road, and he's like, "Check this out!" And he had the title "Picnic Table," and I think like half the chorus or something. A big picnic table with good people hanging around it. I think that might have been it or something like that. And I think me and Anthony immediately connected to that song, not because of the picnic table, but more like our mission is community. You know what I mean? And we love that community feel. And it was. We never really talked about this, Anthony, but I feel like both of our brains immediately went to the same place, which was like, this is not just about a picnic table. It's about um, people getting together and not fighting, you know what I mean, and not arguing, and what we've dealt with for the past few years in the United States. And um, we're just all about, we're just a couple hillbilly hippies, you know, that just like to hang. And I love that about that song, the kind of deeper meaning of it.
Well said.
Hang on a second. Calm out.
Oh, there it is.
No, I was gonna say it's a great song. It's a fun song, and it led into several other songs that you have also released off of this EP. Keys to Kentucky, High and Lonesome this year. What can you say about those songs? Because they are a little different than, say, what people might hear when they play Picnic Table.
And High and Lonesome is, I think we wrote that back in 2019, and we've written over the years some stuff that has some of that kind of bluegrassy drive to it, or some of those kind of things. But you're in Nashville, and we like cranking up electric guitars, and we've experimented just like any artist, trying to dabble in this, dabble in that, trying this, whatever. And anyways, songs like High and Lonesome is kind of like, well, how in the world are we going to make that work? Because we were playing most shows, full band. I'm on electric, Brent's either on acoustic electric, and it's a little more of like a rockin' country show. And like, okay, this is like bluegrassy. How's that gonna fit in all that stuff? So it just kind of got tabled, even though we loved the song when we wrote it. And it just kind of sat for a while, and I can't remember exactly why, but we started playing it live. I think it was like a writer's round. We're like, hey, what if we do, or I don't know, whatever acoustic show we were playing. I was on Resonator, Brent was on acoustic, and what if we break out High and Lonesome? And then we played it at the Opry, and people went nuts. And it just seemed like every time we played it, it was just like, yes! There was electricity like we'd never seen before. Every time we play that song, people lose their mind. And so we're going like, man, maybe we should really lean into this thing a little more. And, we kept having more and more markers to do that. But I would say High and Lonesome was probably the first seed as far as like, we should cut a record like this. And all the other things kind of came together.
Yeah, man, I love playing that song live and feeling the crowd. Keys to Kentucky is probably one of my favorite songs I've ever been a part of. There's something about that character in the song that is a big piece of me. It's like, I feel like if I wasn't married and had a kid, I might be living like that guy in the song. And funny thing, I tell this story a lot when we're playing the song live, but me and Anthony were on a plane heading somewhere, and we both took some of those California gummies that people have, and we got in a conversation about Keys to Kentucky. I was like, I don't know what it is about this guy on the song, like I just love him so much. And Anthony's like, me too, man. And we were sitting there, and one of us said, like, I think the reason we love this guy so much is because if me and you were able to have a baby, it would be this guy. who we named Rufus Haven. So the guy in keys is Rufus Haven, and to me, Rufus Haven was this spirit or character that led a lot of this project as well. Um, just seeing through his eyes, and the great thing about it is like Rufus is a perfect mixture of me and Anthony together. Hats off to Rufus.
He's also gorgeous, as you could tell. I mean, look at us.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree. Well, and like I said, these three songs, by the time this episode drops, the EP will be out. There are other songs on the EP too that people will be able to enjoy. What can they expect with this whole collection? Because, like you said, it took a little bit of maybe a different route than like Kings of the Dairy Queen parking lot and things like that.
It's a roller coaster, man. We definitely have evolved. It's a lot more. Is that me dinging? Or
No,
is that
that's
Brent's
me. I'm
pink?
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm yeah. Go ahead.
as far as this project, yeah, it's different from previous stuff. We've gone more acoustic and earthy and all that. It's probably a little more in the Americana vein, but either way, from start to finish, it's definitely a journey. There's some up-tempo stuff that's crazy, blistering fast and wild, and then there's some stuff that's kind of slow and pensive, and then one, tripping, psychedelic. It's definitely a roller coaster, but I feel like that's, a record, an EP, a collection of music. I think it's good to go on a journey. I bet we would probably get a little bit bored if we just had a record that was, Freebird 6 times, even though Freebird's awesome. But I hear it once, I'm kind of like, cool, what's next? Not comparing us to Leonard Skinner. They're probably like one of the best bands ever, but
They are great. Um, Also, I think you can expect just the most pure and raw form of Everett. Because for this project, we recorded this stuff, most of the stuff, old school, just in the studio, all live, mics bleeding, uh, zero vocal tuning, all the. It's just we made it as raw as we could because we toured a lot with just us on acoustic guitars, and we started noticing that we really enjoyed it that way because we've been playing together for 15 years, and you have this synergy going on that you don't have to catch the band up on. It's just automatic, and I think the crowds felt that too because we always seem to get, and I'm talking about when we're opening an opening act because a lot of times we'll be the opening act and nobody knows who we are. And so you want to win them over and show them what we have to offer that evening. But I don't know, man. It just felt right. We got a good response from crowds, and we thought, why wouldn't we put that on tape? So you're gonna get the raw version.
Hey, it's a good version. I've enjoyed everything that you all have released from Keys to Kentucky EP so far, and as we've talked in the past, I know a lot of personal things go into your songs and things like that. So like for this album, was it a little bit more character driven or just fun type driven? Like where are you guys at on the writing style these days?
that's a great question.
Yeah, it is. Like Anthony said, High and Lonesome is, you know, handful of years old. So some of these songs we didn't write recently, but um, really just fit the sonic sound that we were going for. But also, I think we were handpicking songs. The one of the songs that'll come out Friday is a song called "Another Man Down," and it's about addiction and the opioid crisis. And the first verse is about my uncle who passed away from addiction. And so that's another thing we wanted to accomplish with this record is find find all sides of us, lyrically, and not shy away from talking about things that get under our skin a little bit, like the opioid crisis and things like that. But we also still love to have a good time and party. It's like um, we're getting a little bit older now and probably a little more pensive than we ever were.
I'll say this too. Like I feel like we were kind of, there wasn't maybe as much like deliberate planning or strategy as far as like in this collection of songs. Like what songs are going to make it. It was a mix of like shooting from the hip and kind of going with our gut. Like we knew High and Lonesome had to be on there. We knew Keys to Kentucky had to be on there, and then like Trippin' was just so cool, and it was kind of we've been itching to do something like that, and it just kind of felt like, yeah, screw it, let's go, let's just try something crazy, and that felt cool. And then
Picnic
I guess
Table almost didn't make it. You remember? Picnic Table
well,
wasn't going to be on this TV.
The other three were kind of, we kept going like, I wish we had more songs on here, and we are going like, well, No Vacancy would be awesome. And we had already been in the studio and cut some stuff with the band, and so No Vacancy was basically me and Brent, just playing in a room and adding a few things, like a little drum thing. I played the bass, and the guy we wrote it with, Brian Simpson, played fiddle. He came back and did fiddle and sang some oohs with us in that song. I'm sorry, that's Another Man Down. He played fiddle on mandolin on No Vacancy. And I guess Picnic Table was Brent going like, we need something lighthearted. We got a little dark. We need something. And it really does help round it out. I feel like we did kind of show the spectrum in that sonic playground of being more earthy and acoustic and gritty or whatever. I feel like we really painted a pretty accurate picture of where we're at these days musically, as a duo, what we do together, lyrically, what's on our minds, what it feels like to be in our shoes, all that.
And man, like we've always really have kind of done this sound, just different different instrumentation. Like if you take Dang the Whiskey and we recorded it the way we did High and Lonesome, it would sound like a bluegrass song more. So it didn't. This project never felt like a big change of lanes for me. It felt like we were just continuing down a road, and it just felt natural.
If anything, I think it felt unbridled. Like we were trusting. It was way more automatic. I think the songs that are wheelhouse, like from the previous Kings of the Oakland Parking Lot side A and B. The songs that are more automatic are the ones that we could still play in this format. Songs that still lend themselves, regardless of what instruments we're playing. The ones that are more difficult to play live, I think that's kind of what probably we were thinking too, is like, what can we go out and play, and we know we're gonna want to play this over and over and over and over. As far as for this EP, I think that's probably going to be the way moving forward. Now every now and then there might be a song where you go like, I don't know how we're going to play this live, but it feels really good in the speakers. I love this. I'm so proud of what we've put together here. The writing, the recording, the community it took to make it happen. We worked with some really good friends that were engineering. The guy that played drums on 3 of the songs, like it was all just with good friends that we've known for a long time, and it felt so good to kind of be in the captain's seat or whatever. Like, we don't have a label these days. We didn't have to go through a team, go like, hey, we want to cut these songs. Is that cool? Can you pay for it? Is that cool? We just went like, okay, here's how much money we can, and went to our friends like, is this okay? And they're like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. And we all just had a good time making some music. Simple.
Back to the basics.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, and I think it turned out great. And you guys talk about being able to do stuff with your friends and different things. Like, I know you guys, in addition to putting out this album, you guys have been working on different cuts that have been getting recorded by a lot of different people. What's that been like to work with your friends. I know you've been working with several Kentuckians like Tyler Booth, Aaron Ratier on some songwriting sessions. You've gotten Josh Turner down in Georgia, Tracy Lawrence. I could use one. What's all that kind of been like to be, in addition to putting out an EP, still getting these cuts and still, making a good living that way too?
Man, I'm trying to find the words to use. I have gotten just excited over getting a cut like that as anything. Like there's something about, because we both take the craft of songwriting really serious and enjoy the process, and that's kind of how me and Anthony started together. We just started writing songs like almost automatically, and we got a lot of great friends that we write with, and Tyler Booth being one of those. And down in Georgia we were writing for Tyler Booth in his project, and Josh Turner snatched it up. So, it was fine with him and fine with us as well. And God, what a voice! And then Tracy Lawrence, come on. I mean, for me, I remember I grew up like on a horse farm, and my uncle always had the country music station playing. And Tracy Lawrence was hot back then when I was a kid. And Time Marches On, and I Can See It Now, and Texas Tornado, and Find Out Who Your Friends, all those amazing songs and his amazing voice. And I was a little bitty kid, and then getting him and him recording this song of ours, it was just kind of a full circle. Like it gave a picture of like the journey a little bit for me when I heard Tracy Lawrence, his voice on our tune. But it's super cool for me.
I hate it. No, I gotta be. This is gonna sound really weird.
Well, damn.
So
Okay, and we'll just end right there. Just kidding.
Right? I'm kind of a weirdo when it comes to stuff like this. Like, I mean, it was so Tracy Lawrence, Josh Turner. That like hearing their voices on songs that we wrote, was pretty surreal. But I think I kind of suck at stopping and smelling the roses. It just kind of goes like, oh yeah, cool. Okay, what's next? Like I don't know why I'm like that, but it's always been that way. I remember when we signed our record deal, I remember going like, shouldn't this be like a pinch me moment? Like I should be kind of like really excited. And I was just kind of like, okay, what are we doing? What's happening? What are we doing? What's next? And there haven't been. I don't know why. Like those kind of things. This sounds like I'm being ungrateful. I don't think it's not so much about that. Like, I don't know what I'm saying here exactly. Maybe I just have a cold heart. I don't know. I'm so proud of like that happening, but I don't know why. I wish I was better at stopping and smelling the roses. I think I get too focused on like what's in front of me. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what I need to have like a mid-year resolution or something. Because that's pretty damn cool. Y'all are looking at me like, that guy's an idiot.
We're just praying for
I
you,
would
man.
never.
I'll take it.
I was gonna say I would never say that. No, I mean it's cool to see what you guys have been able to do, whether it's writing, putting out the EP, and then you also like to, like you said, you like to have a good time with your friends. The bread and butter jam sessions. First off, bread and butter takes me back to my childhood. I loved a little bread and butter after school. So how did those come to be, and why that name?
We thought this record was going to be called Bread and Butter. Because like it's that simple thing, as simple as bread and butter, or like this is our bread and butter. This is what we do. It's kind of the thought. And
First me and Anthony and Aaron Ratier were going to start a bluegrass band together, and that band right. We talked about being called Bread and Butter. That still might happen, by the way, if we can all get together.
I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, we're all so busy separately, but maybe when we're like 70. Anyway, continue. I didn't mean to cut you off, Anthony.
No, I'm glad you reminded that. I believe like Brent was the one that said like if we're gonna do this bluegrass band, it should be called Bread and Butter, and I said it should be called the Golden Rods.
I think
Uh,
I think the name Goldenrod is my vote now because bread and butter kind of it's old news now because it is attached to something different. So there
oh
you go.
man. Uh, but so yeah, we thought maybe this EP or collection of songs could be called Bread and Butter, and we were having trouble. I think when it's hard to, the timeline's a little squirrely, but um, we wanted to start doing some kind of jam where we'd have our friends, songwriting friends, artist friends, get up on stage and play some stuff either we wrote together or we just really really admire them and want to jam with them on, just kind of a big community event. And hopefully people would pay tickets to come see it. So we're like, what are we going to call it? Bread and Butter Jam. And it just kind of was like, yeah, that makes sense because we didn't really. I think once that popped out, I was like, yeah, that's what it's called. That's what it's going to be, and it feels pretty good. It feels like us, like a thing we would do. I wish we were able to do more of them. It does take a lot of work to do those shows. You gotta corral other artists and songwriters with busy schedules and go, especially summertime. Everybody's flying this way and that way and traveling and then trying to lock down the venue. And if you can get those people locked in, then you got to get rehearsal. It's more than just a show. It's like a mini Opry or something. Maybe that's an overstatement even, but either way, I love
No,
doing
I
it.
think that's right, man. I think that's well said.
I wish
A
we could
mini
do
Opry.
it. We were trying to do it like once every month or so, and it was so much work because it's not, we do the show, but we also have all the video we get from it, and we try to make cool little videos after the fact while we're also planning the next one and trying to write songs and trying to record music and be husbands and dads and
We're doing
do all
selfies
that
on
stuff.
social media.
Yeah. Y'all want to see what I had for breakfast today? I put
Yeah.
some cottage cheese in my eggs. It was, yeah, eat that.
uh, I don't know if you remember this, Anthony, but we solidified the name Bread and Butter for this event in Germany.
That sounds
We were
right.
talking to Austin Jinx, and we had already had the band name Bread and Butter, and we were like, we should just call this Bread and Butter. And we were in Munich, Germany, on tour out
And
there.
I guess we had Austin at the first one.
Yeah,
Or
and
I don't
Austin
know.
was our third. Yep, he was Austin, LV Shane, and Kanan
Yeah.
Smith.
Oh man,
That
we
was
did
awesome.
we did a version with LV of Amazing Grace with LV Shane that was in a minor key. But LV mixed it up where he also did House of the Rising Sun as the verses, and it was so we need to put that back out. We might need to actually record that with him
Yeah,
if
that was really awesome, man.
we could
That was
track his
super
crazy
cool.
ass down.
Yeah,
He's
LV's
somewhere.
another friend of ours. He's such a nice guy, man. I love that guy.
I love LV. Love LV.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a blast. Like I said, I love how much you guys also stay while you're down in Tennessee, Nashville. You keep those Kentucky connections going, and have fun on those. And I know y'all stay busy with shows, different things. The one question I want to ask, like last time we talked, I think you were coming off your first Opry appearance. Maybe the first time you had done it back in 2022.
Oh wow.
You're now up to double digits. Did you all ever imagine that when you all started?
Okay,
No.
back to being my sour self. You know where your head goes once you get to double digits. So check this. This is terrible. And it's so amazing. The people there at the Opry are so amazing playing that stage. The band, I love. It's like honestly one of my favorite gigs. And we got spoiled. We got to do it where it was almost every month that one year. And then getting into this year, we're kind of going like, hey man, when's the Opry gonna hit us up? What the hell, guy? What is wrong with them? Where are you? I'm getting angry. It's like, isn't that what a weird mind space to be in? I should be kind of like, we got to play the Opry 11 times. That's amazing. And I should just be like, yeah, it was great.
Well, the
Bless me.
Opry's funny, and
But it's
they'll holler at you on Tuesday or Wednesday and say, "Hey, can you play the Opry this Saturday?" And if
yeah.
you're in town, it's like, heck, always yes, always if we're here. I can't believe. No, I never would have imagined 11 times. Um, that Opry
It is
debut,
11, right?
yeah, that Opry debut was in just so much. It's just the standing ovation, all the things. It's just like pinch me kind of stuff, and you just hope to get through that first one, and hope we did all right. And I guess we did because we've been back 11 times. But it's like going home or something when you go to the
Yeah.
Opry. Everybody is like, you walk in there, everybody remembers you, knows your name, and just treats you like family. And there's a lady that has a nickname back there. Her name's Lemonade, and she's so sweet. I think she gave Anthony's son a harmonica or something.
Harmonica. Yeah. He
Uh,
loves now both my boys play with it, yeah.
yeah, so
Hey,
it's awesome.
I got a funny story. And by the way, what I was trying to articulate earlier is more so like, nobody's immune, and whatever stage you're at in your career, artist career, musician career, whatever, you know, you always want more. It's hard to maintain the peaceful gratitude of like just enjoying wherever it is that you're at. Often you find yourself kind of going like, okay, I need more. What's next? I'm up pretty high, but how can I get higher up the mountain? But anyways, funny story about the Opry. Uh, I don't remember if it was the second one or which one exactly, but Brent and I were talking to Ricky Skaggs, which, is like somebody injecting you with all the best drugs in the world.
Well, we were
Um,
listening to Ricky Skaggs on the way to our Opry debut. I don't know if you remember that. Like
yeah,
cranked up
yeah.
Ricky Skaggs blasted, and then here's the second time when we're chatting with him like we're friends.
When my wife and I first got married, I listened to so much of Ricky Skaggs' Kentucky Thunder, like just over and over and over and over. She like was seriously like, you have to listen to something else. I can't, it was a problem. I get like that. I get a little put on stuck on repeat. But anyways, so excited talking to Ricky Skaggs backstage at the Opry, and my wife and Freddie, I guess then was 2 or 3. I can't remember 3. Uh, anyways, there's a video of this. I keep it on my desktop on my computer. Uh, it's called Freddie Poop is the title of is the title of the video, because we're talking to Ricky Skaggs. It's like, oh yeah, oh wow, having a little conversation, and Freddie walks up. He's like, Daddy, I have to go poop. And Ricky Skaggs was just so cool. He was like, oh, look at that, like, well, and my wife comes in. She's like, come on. But I love that, like, he had to come find me. It's so cool that kids, like, they don't know, none of that really matters. Everybody's just another human being, and I'm his dad, and he has to go poop, and that's all that matters in that moment. If only life could be that simple, all the time.
But really.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I this is one of my favorite questions to ask everyone, and I'm curious with y'all, especially with everything that you guys do nowadays. Is there a favorite song y'all like to perform right now?
I say for me, ever since the first time we played it live, High and Lonesome is my favorite thing. It's also probably the most terrifying, because I never know how fast Brent's going to start it. And it can come off the rails. I really got to focus.
I would say High and Lonesome and Keys to Kentucky, depending on the venue. Because if you got a rowdy crowd, High and Lonesome cuts through every time and gets people's attention. But if you got a listening crowd, I'm always real excited to play Keys to Kentucky.
I like it. 2 songs off the new EP.
Yeah, and I will add this. It never playing "Can't Say No" never gets old to me off of Kings of the Dairy Queen parking lot.
Yeah, that's another one of those like go to, like, this one's gonna feel good every time.
There are some very good songs off of those original albums that y'all put out, and for those that are gonna go see shows soon, I know you're playing Americana Fest. Any other shows coming up that you can let us in? What else can folks expect the rest of the year?
We're in Thurman, North Carolina next weekend.
We have
Man,
I'm not sure if it's announced yet, but we're doing a run in Texas coming up.
Ooh.
I think 3 dates in Texas, and then we're going to be doing parts of the Midwest this fall as well,
mm-hmm.
and just doing headlining stuff as of now.
Oh,
That could- that-
we do
that
have
could change.
we are opening for Tracy Lawrence. I can't
Yeah.
remember when or where. I probably should know that, but it's
in
on the
August,
calendar. So
and it's in August, and either in Omaha or Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita. It's Wichita. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
What a
See,
funny
I'm
Tracy-
name.
excited about that. What's that?
Wichita.
See, that's why both of you need to be here together. That way you can make sure the other one's right, and you know where you're headed. And sounds like a lot of good things are coming up. Like I said, the EP, by the time this episode drops, will be out. Folks will definitely need to check that out. And Brent, Anthony, thanks for sharing some stories, sharing where everything came from on this latest one, and it's been a blast, y'all.
Likewise, man.
Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it.
Find more from Hops and Spirits at hopspirits.com.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.